Putting this cam into a box and testing it was taking way too long with the old videos, so I made a new and improved one. The first thing you want to do is go to the origin folder, and we want the plane that goes through the middle of this to be visible. We want the plane that goes through this way, the width of it, to be visible. And we want the axis that goes through the middle of it to also be visible. Now there are ways you can create new work planes and new axes, but this is much faster and easier. One thing I do want to make sure that you do, notice how this back plane here is behind the object. We're going to change that by taking our original extrusion, double click that, and have it go out of both directions. So it's going forward and backward, and that's going to make the plane go right down the middle of it, as you can see from here. That's what this yellow line is. Okay, let's save our work. And now if you go to the MyPLTW website, to the 4.5 section, you have the option here to download the Automata Simulation folder. So click that, and it will go to your downloads. And as soon as that finishes downloading, you can right click and say Show in Folder. Double click it, double click again, and these are the parts that you need. So let's actually go back one. The easiest way to go back is up at the very top of my screen. I'm just going to click on where it says zip, and this folder I'm going to right click and hit copy. I'm going to go into my my drive, which is, I don't actually see it on here, sthorn to inventor, and I'm going to right click and paste this right in here. I don't know if I already have it, but apparently I don't. So there's my Automata simulation. There's all the files that come with that. Let me go back to Inventor. I'm going to save file, save as, and I'm going to drop that into my Automata simulation folder. Okay, so now this is in that folder, and I'm going to say not open. Well, no, I do want to open. My mistake. I'm going to go back into the Automata folder, so that's under Inventor for me, and it's with the A's, and I'm going to break out the one that says test. Automata simulation test. Let's open this up. So this already has a ruler in it, and it has a cam in it that I didn't create, that Project Lead the Way made for us. Thank you, PLTW. It should also have the box in it, but it's hidden, and I'll show you how you can turn on and off that visibility. It's thinking. Alright, so we have a ruler, we have a cam, we have a follower. Let's go to an ISO view, and I do want to see the box again, so I'm going to right click up here where it says box. See how it's kind of gray? Well, check visibility so we can actually see that. And sure, we could just leave this in here, but I don't want to. So let's go ahead and take this cam and delete it. And we're going to put in the one that we created instead. I don't know why he keeps doing this to me. So I want to go back to Inventor. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's not it either. There we go. And Automata simulation. And I called it 4.2.4. Must have been where I helped you out with making the pair. Alright, here's my cam. Now, we get to play with all these fancy planes. The first one, I go to constrain, zoom in close, I'm going to grab that axis, and say that axis matches with this one that goes through my handle. We get a nice click from that. Then I'm going to take this plane. I say that plane should be touching. Uh-oh. I don't see a plane on this follower. Let's fix that. So I'm going to click on the follower, Go to the origin folder, and there should be a plane that's going that way. Let's right click and make that visible. Now that that's visible, I'm going to say constrain. If you get next to the yellow lines, it will kind of change color. That way you know you have it selected. I want that to be touching this. Apply. And my last bit that I need to do is I need to get that little thin YZ plane to match up with my handle here and say apply. Now, you guys should be able to just grab this handle and drag, but notice that it goes through the follower, which is not possible. So this is where we're going to turn off the visibility. We're going to leave the visibility on. Heck with that. We're going to go back to constraint. We're going to make a transitional constraint. It's a fun new one that they have. We're going to click the bottom face, so make sure you're not getting the edge. You're getting this whole bottom face of the follower and the outside face of our cam. And hit apply. Now what we should see happen is as we turn this handle, there we go, the follower moves along with it. So notice that since this is like a circle, it's not going to change at all. It only changes when it starts to go into the top part of the pair. Now I want to be able to mark the changes on a motion graph. So to do that, we have to know what angle this is at. We're going to go back to constraint, select angle. This time we're going to choose directed angle. And I'm going to pick a flat surface and say that this, even though it's way far away from it, it's going to hold that same angle. Okay, so let's apply that. And now we're going to click and make this go invisible with the box. I'm going to look at it so I can see the ruler. And then I'm going to click on the handle. Now I just made an angle constraint on it here. And it's at 0 degrees now. If I type in here, the bottom box, 45, I'll see that this moved, but my ruler didn't. Also, I do want to zoom in real close and see what's happening with this ruler. So I think it wanted to know a couple of things. One of them was if this, and here I might even scoot this over. Where's my ruler at? Here? I'll bring this more to the front. I'll bring it all the way to the front. How's that? There's my axis there. If I'm going to measure from the bottom of that to the top of this follower at 45 degree increments or 15 degree increments or whatever it says on your paper, I think it's 45, then I would start changing this angle and writing down what happens. So from at 0, the top of the follower was at what is this? This is a half, so that's a fourth, and that's an eighth, and between here are sixteenths. Okay, so this is 1 1/4. At 45, it's still 1 1/4. At 90, it's still 1 1/4. At 135, it changes. No, it doesn't. It's still 1 1/4. Sorry. At 170 or 180. Now it changes quite a bit. So we were down here, now we're all the way up here, so 1 3/4. And then you would continue marking on this motion graph what's happening. The other one's going to say what's happening to the top of this. So if we go back to 0, you'd write down that at 0 degrees, we're at 5, and we said these are, that would be a 16th. And if we went, if that's a 16th, this must be a 32nd here. So 31 32nds. 5 and 31 32nds. And it shouldn't change at all, if you remember correctly. 45, nothing. 90, nothing. 135, I guess it does a little bit of something. And 180 is where you have the big change. So record those on your paper, and that's all it's asking you to do.